Hello, this is Dug II for NES. Actually, wait, this is the Japanese ROM, so this is actually Dug II for the Famicom. This is a game that I extracted from Namco Museum Archives Volume 2 from Steam. I extracted it with a Linux script you can get on Github. It's called game-extraction-toolbox. And I'm running it in the emulator Mesen. So nothing here in the way of options. You just play a one-player or two-player game. I don't know if two players co-op. Let's see if we can find out. Oh, there's 5 enemies. In single player, it's usually just 4 enemies. Oh, I guess it must alternate. Yeah, it alternates. Okay. Okay, so, wow, it starts back on 2. Let's do 1. Oh, wait, no, I'm wrong. There are 5 enemies. I can't count. So, you have a spear hose. It's not like the winding hose of Dig Dug 1. You can inflate the enemies like you could in Dig Dug 1. Or you have this drill, and you can drill based from these weird things in the stakes in the ground, I guess. I don't know. And you can drill in any of the directions, but you have to be, like, pushing in that direction. Oh, but I can't. So, if enemies are on there, they'll sink into the ocean, and you get bonus points for it, I think. For taking the enemies out that way. It's kind of like in Dig Dug 1, you could pop them with your air hose, or you could crush them with rocks. I'm still not really firm on what determines which side of the crevasse, the island. Wow, I got fried and drowned at the same time. Which side of the hole you make collapses? I have not figured that out, and I keep falling into my own massive landslides into the sea. There's only 4 on this stage. I also keep getting the hose and the... Oh no! So... what determines... Is it like pixel... Is it the precise pixel side of you're standing on? So that should have been a big score, right? 10K. Whereas normally if you just air inflate a person, how much... don't... do it. No, I did that... Oh. I can't figure that out. Well, there's got to be something that determines which side collapses, but I don't know what it is. Too stupid to figure it out. According to Wikipedia, Dig Dug 2 compared to Dig Dug 1 was not popular. Yeah, people just didn't like it. I got an eggplant. I always saw Dig Dug in the arcade back in the day, but I don't remember ever seeing, oh man, 6 enemies. I don't remember ever seeing Dig Dug 2. Nope. Oh, God. Why couldn't it have collapsed everybody else? Is it just the side that's smaller that collapses? Oh, I think that was the bigger side. Nope, went the wrong, dumb way. See, this is what makes me not super appreciate this game, is that I don't understand how you know which side collapses. Also, I think Wikipedia did mention that this game was harder. And that might have been a reason why people didn't go for it. Also, like, this hose isn't nearly as adorable as the undulating hose in Dig Dug 1. And the fact that in Dig Dug 1, you were the one who made the music go when you moved. Also, this is more complicated because you have to remember 2 buttons, and I keep getting them confused. And I keep falling into my own holes. I gotta look this up. How do you know what side of the landslide, what side of the land is going to collapse? game-extraction-toolbox, Dig Dug II. Oh, in the US they called this game Trouble in Paradise. Dig Dug 2 Trouble in Paradise. But this is the Japanese ROM. It also came out on the Famicom Disk System. Q&A? No. Guides. There are 2 no, one's an arcade FAQ. Okay. Okay. Sinking part of the island with 1 enemy on it is 1,000 points, 2 enemies is 2,000 points, 3 enemies is 4,000 points. After this, the points are as follows: 7,000 for 4 enemies, 11,000 for 5. Whereas you only get 200 points for inflating an enemy to death. Okay. You can drill at certain spots on the map which look like brown blobs. They look like stakes in the ground, silly person. You cannot drill anywhere else on the map. When you drill, a crack appears in the island. To sink parts of the island, you have to connect enough cracks to separate a whole part of the island. Once this is done, the smaller piece of the island will sink. Okay. So if it's close to half size, you would be left guessing maybe. So yeah, it's like there's this risk-reward thing because you could just inflate a lot of the enemies to death. But, see, I kept thinking, well, what if, you know, I'm on this tiny part of the island? Like, I sort of assumed that it would sink the side of the crevice that you weren't on. That's how I would have been tempted to set it up. That way you could have collapsed like the whole darn thing except for one tiny little corner and felt really cool. Oh man, big point so's for me. This NES or Famicom version, I think looks pretty good. That being said, the arcade version is available in Arcade Archives on PS4, and so I went and bought that version too. So after I play this, the next video is going to be the PS4 Arcade Archives Dug II. And that one actually has a new version versus an old version. I'm not sure if that's different revisions of the ROM. I guess it must be. This is weird, I can't... Ugh. Uh-oh. I went the wrong way. So fortunately, if you are just on the divide between the two sections, you can hold the direction you want to safety and save yourself. But if see, that's going to collapse over there because that's smaller. Oh, stupid. So in this case, I kind of have to lure some dopes over here if I want to get big collapsey points. Now, I saw somebody... See, I should have watched a video of somebody good at this game, because there's something you do with, like, staying right on the cracks. And, whoa. That didn't collapse it. Oh! Watermelon. See ya, buddy. This game kind of rules. When I first found out about this game, I thought it looked pretty awesome, but I didn't have a way to play it. So I've never really played it. What am I doing here? I don't know. On it. I gained a man at some point. Does it keep the crevices I made? I think it did. Maybe it didn't. Well, that was real bright. I guess I got one guy. Oh, there were two of them right on top of each other. That's that same darn thing that happens in Dug 1. $38K. It's also kind of got the thing that I... Well, so like Dug 1, the enemy movement is not random. If you just, like, for instance, stay still at the beginning of the... It's not gonna get him. Come down here. If you stay still at the beginning of the stage, they'll come and kill you. Whoa! Oh, they time out, like, kind of like in... So they just head for the coast and then jump in. See, it's trying to do the same stuff that Dug 1 did, but it's not nearly as intuitive. Because in Dug 1, they would dig upwards to escape, but you could see them doing that. In this one, it's kind of harder to see what they're doing. Well, I'm an idiot. Oh, and like in Dug 1, after you collapse it, it's looking like after you collapse two sections, vegetable appears, whereas in one, after you dropped two rocks, a vegetable appears. You guys on top of each other. So you get almost no points for inflating guys in this, and I mean, inflating guys in the first one was fun, but here it doesn't, oh, wrong, it doesn't really want you to. Dang it. You effectively get punished for inflating guys, because you know that's a totally suboptimal score. I should have... this whole time I'm just thinking, how do I get the big score? And I'm distracting myself and dying. I didn't have that problem to such an extent in the first one. Because you weren't always trying to make such huge combos, it just wasn't really that possible. You would try to get as many guys under a rock as you could, but I guess unless you were one who wants to spend a ton of time, like, manipulating the AI, it's just going to be real hard to do. There's got to be some way to get a big coins out of that, but that's smart. What if you do something with that fish? Like, can I hit it with my hose to get extra points? Wait, there's only 3 guys on this stage. Oh, yeah. Okay, I got it. Oops. I gained a dude. 7 guys on this one. I don't think that got anybody, and now I'm trapped in here with all these guys. Brilliant. Oh no. Oh, they can't walk over that crack. Yeah, I mean, what kind of stopped me from playing Dug 1 was just that it's the same every time. Like, the enemies are in the same positions on all the stages every time, and when you start a new game, you're just faced with the prospect of just redoing the stages again, and it's just, you know, and it becomes a memorizer like Pac-Man. Whereas I always liked Miss Pac-Man. Oh, my mushroom. And I stepped off. So I didn't get the mushroom and I lost a life. That's a good start. And this game is kind of the same, except I'm way worse at it. But I guess a lot of arcade games are, like, they don't have a random factor. Most games of this era, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe some more did that I don't know about. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a game that isn't random, as long as you don't want to play it all the time, unless you're just... See, I'm just not somebody who has the... I don't know, whatever it takes to be able to try to, you know, keep playing the exact same thing and optimizing it. I want to try new things, or at least new combinations of things. Rather than perfecting one thing. I mean, once in a while I'll get super obsessed over something, like beating some stage in a shmup. That happened to me like once in my life on Gunbird 2 on Dreamcast. But then I've never really been able to recapture that, and shmups are memorizers generally, so I can't really play shmups anymore, plus the fact that they have very flashy effects. But I do find the graphics in this pretty adorable in this NES version. I mean, they're more or less like the arcade version, just sort of chunkier. Like Dig Dug 1 for NES runs really bad, and the sound is bad. Actually, the sound in the arcade version of 2 is definitely better. Well, it's just too much stuff to think about to try to optimize your score in this. Oops. Also, it's sort of awkward how walking works. Because you can only move in discrete segments of the landscape, but it doesn't look like that. There's somehow in Dig Dug 1 it wasn't quite as unintuitive that you could only move in certain... I mean, in Dig Dug 1 you were always digging a tunnel, so you'd kind of tell what, like, row you were on because it was making a tunnel behind you. Come on, somebody. Okay, hold that pose. I did it. Oh, I absolutely crushed my score. I mean, if you're into score challenges, I guess this is the thing. So that's another thing that the PS4 has going for the Arcade Archives version, because it does have an online leaderboard. Never even saw this stage yet. Oh, don't go over there. I need you over... Oh, wait. It's not gonna... Dang it. Come over here. Come to my trap. Oh, no. Not all of you at once. I can't handle that many of you. Nope. Did the points... I don't think I got those points. Okay, that's the NES version. It's pretty good. I mean, it plays smoothly. It doesn't feel like it slows down. The sound sounds pretty good on its own. I can't compare it to the arcade version yet because I haven't played that yet, and I've seen video, but I don't remember it that clearly. Yeah, it's just not quite as pleasing in any particular way as Dig Dug 1, and it's more complicated. It feels harder. Whereas Dig Dug 1, it gives you a nice time to ramp up, and there isn't so much stuff you have to think about at once in Dig Dug 1, really. And it just feels more intuitive the way you move in Dig Dug 1, and you don't have to worry about, as I keep saying, two buttons, which, like I keep saying, the NES, like, well, I guess it had like the most action buttons I have to have in a game, which is 2. But apparently even in some games 2 is too many for me to handle. Like they could have combined it into one button, right? And just had it, if you're on the stake, then it drills, and if you're not on the stake, then it inflates. I think there probably are versions that, like an Amiga or C64 version maybe, that would have to do that since those are one-button systems. And that should work fairly well. I mean, obviously you couldn't inflate if you wanted to at that point, but usually you would not want to. I don't know. Anyhow, that's Dig Dug 2. It's sort of okay. But yeah, like, it's kind of got, you know, the things that made me not want to keep playing Dig Dug, which is the fact that it's repetitive. There is that randomized version of Dig Dug. What was that called? If you look in my video archive, you'll find it. That was made by you know, it's a fan game basically, and it's really well done. I just kind of felt like, well, you know, I should play the legit one. I guess, I don't know, but yeah. So this just makes everything harder, I guess. It feels like they're like, if the landscape had been more interesting, if there was more playable stuff to interact with and more factors involved, like rivers or mountains or something that could affect it, kind of, maybe that could have been more interesting, but that, you're still making it more complicated at that point. Maybe I would have just said, don't have both the hose and the drill. Just go with the drill. Forget about the hosing. Just make it a drill game. And work out, you know, work it out around that. And actually, why, I mean, that's something that I think puzzled me when I first realized how the drilling worked in this game. It's like, why limit it like that? Why not make it so you just can hold the drill button or turn on the drill and just drill wherever you want? I guess maybe that would have been slow. They didn't want the player to have to trace out the crevasse. They just wanted it to happen automatically with a single button press. Well, it's a tricky one, and maybe it's just not as great a concept as the original Dig Dug. I mean, not much is in terms of a, you know, a non-randomized, you know, score challenge type arcade game. Like, they didn't invent any new enemy types in this. It's still just the pukas and figars, according to that FAQ I read. Which is all you need, of course. You got the one enemy without a ranged weapon and the other enemy with a ranged weapon, basically. But you do miss some of the nuance of the original, like where figars their flame could go through narrow walls, but not thicker walls. But that's not something this game even has. Yeah, so I don't know. It's okay. Anyway, I got to play it, so I'm going to go, next episode, I'm going to be playing the arcade version. We'll see if that one makes me think a little differently about it. That's it for now, though. Thanks for watching. Again, this was the NES version of the ROM. See, it says BNEI, so that's a modern change. That's the modern name of the company, Bandai Namco. So they altered that part of the ROM and took off the, well, this is a Japanese ROM, so it wouldn't have mentioned Nintendo. Anyway, the Famicom games apparently didn't have to have a notice about Nintendo down there. Okay, that's it for now. Thank you. See you later.